All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Hopefully, you guys are hearing me well. Welcome to the Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition monthly meeting. I am Council Member at Large Willie Lightfoot, the Chairman of Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition, and I pray and hope that all of you are doing well. And I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that we are streaming. These meetings are hybrid. We are streaming on the City Council YouTube page, and we are also recording this message for anyone's future reference. And we are here tonight to discuss our normal business of the Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition, and we are so excited to have each and every one of you with us. Before we get started, we typically start with a moment of silence, of course, always honoring those and remembering the people who have lost their lives due to violence. And we have had some major mass shootings since our last meeting, since school has started, some school shootings around the country. And we have had a few homicides here locally in our local city. And so we want to just think about all of the individuals. And these mass shootings are very, very troubling in the fact that there were children involved. And also here locally, we know of a 2-year-old that got a hold, of my understanding, of a handgun and shot his mother. My understanding is as well, just recently within the last week or so. So we want to just keep all of these things in our prayers and in our thoughts. And I would ask, please, sir, please, ma'am, if you all would join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. So once again, I hope that you are all well. I hope that you're enjoying our summer. We had a very hot summer this summer, and I hope if for those, I'm a Cowboys fan, but my second team is the Bills, and boy, what a game last night, right? Oh my God, that was felt like we were watching the Super Bowl, right? It was pretty incredible. Go Bills! That's good for our region and for our city. But I would offer for anyone who may be their first time attending the Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition meeting, I'd ask that you unmute yourselves and please introduce yourself and maybe your organization you're with. And we'd love to give you the opportunity to and welcome to the coalition meeting. If there's anybody who may be their first time attending this meeting, we'd ask that you unmute and please, sir. All right. Well, it sounds like we have everyone's been here before, and that is great. Welcome again. Welcome back. Um, so we're gonna go right through our agenda as usual. Starting off with we have things kind of maybe jumbled around here. It's no particular order, but we'll just go in the order in which we have them. I know normally we typically start with the RPD, but we'll start with Office of Violence Prevention. If there's anyone here, because I think I did get a message from Zeke that said that he was not going to be able to attend. He had some personal things going on. However, he did send us a list of events. We'll make sure that we send. I think some of them we've already sent out, but we'll make sure that that you guys, if there's something that you haven't already gotten, that will get to you. But I don't want to miss any. If someone else is here from there, we'll pause and listen. If not, we'll move on to Captain Mura from RPD.
Good evening, everybody. Just a real quick thank you to all of our partners that participate in this meeting every month and all the work that you all do during our meetings and the smaller meetings offline as well. So thanks again to everybody, and I hope everybody's staying happy, healthy, and safe. Let me get right into our totals right now. Year-to-date shootings, 109 actual incidents with 122 victims as of Friday. The median age is 29 years old of the victims. Year to date homicides, 23 as of Friday. 71% of the homicides in Rochester were by firearm. And currently, we have a 76% clearance rate for those homicides to date, which is exceptional. But we've said it a million times, any single homicide is too many, and any one that goes unsolved is too many. So I'll move on to guns recovered. Handguns for last month recovered were 26. Long guns were 8. Ghost guns were 6. Year to date, handguns as of Friday were 253. That number's higher now, obviously. Long guns year to date was 53, and ghost guns as of Friday was 47. For August, there were 52 criminal possession of weapon arraignments in Monroe County. 7 individuals were held without bail. 35 individuals had cash or bail set. Of those cases, 16 individuals had the cash bail set at $5,000 or less. 6 of those cases, the individuals were released with non-monetary conditions, and 4 others I could not get the data from. And again, as you know, I'll be sending an email as soon as I'm finished speaking that has all of this data plus the demographics of the individuals that were arrested. So the demographics cover age, race, location of what town they reside in, and things of that nature, whether they're in or out of state or whatever the case may be. So there's quite a bit of data to look at. The email will be forthcoming shortly, and then I expect that everybody will get it shortly thereafter. So that's all I have for now, and I can take some questions if Councilman is good with that.
Yes, thank you, Captain Murrow. I want to start some questions, but I'll kick it off with the one, and I know this is a lot of the you said like 71% of the homicides out of the 23 for the year were by firearms. So I know I'm not, of course, asking for any information to be shared that can't be public, but at some point, our goal is to be able to provide, and this is one of the reasons why our data committee is working to fill the gap of providing the information of where, are these, a lot of these, out of the 73%, how many of the firearms were retrieved? I guess that's my first question. How many of them were actually retrieved in the case? And then
I couldn't.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all right. There's no way for me to know that at this point. Especially because most of those cases, because they're this year, probably haven't been to trial yet. Or if they are, they're in the middle of trial. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't have that data, and I wouldn't be able to share it either. I think Nick Petiti might be able to get that
yeah.
once the cases are
That's what
settled.
we want to start. Yeah, I think that's what one of the things that we're going to want to start, because out of the clearance rate of the 76%, when we go by, I think when we start looking at filling in gaps of data through the new data hub, I think that's one of the areas that we want to definitely pay attention to, like cases that have cleared, cases that have gone to trial, guns that have been brought in, and then linking that to our gun trace data report that, of course, obviously we're working on a new one for this year as well. And that information is helpful in us telling this story, the full story of, the crime guns that are being trafficked into our city. So, I just wanted to just make that point of that 76%. It is our goal, coalition partners, that eventually when we're having these conversations, even if it's us having a year to date from the following year, we want to be able to connect those dots of the firearms that were retrieved. And are they, even if we can't mention the actual gun dealers or stolen, because we know some of them are stolen and some of them from straw purchasing. We at least want to be able to say that were they through straw purchasing, were they stolen, were they guns that were confiscated or out of in our county or outside of our county and state. So those are things that I think are very, very, very important for us to be able to continually draw attention to the public and draw those lines. So I know it's not really a question, Captain Mura, but I just wanted to, let you know kind of how what the end goal would be for us to be able to connect those dots.
Yeah, that makes
Shiamaka, I
sense.
think you have your name up, sis.
Hi, Captain Mira. I just have a very kind of shot in the dark question. So if the answer is no, I totally understand. Are you ever able to use the quantitative data of demographics around gun assaults or homicides in order to paint a qualitative picture of trends of types of violence and maybe any relation to a policy change or any relation to like something going on at a local level?
Are you referring to utilizing the demographic data to determine if there is a trend in age or race or sex, male or female, regarding victims versus suspects? Something along those lines?
Close. I would say more of let's say social events based shooting versus interpersonal domestic violence based shootings and killings versus communal dynamics and gang first shootings, something, for
Sure.
instance, just
No,
in order to, yeah.
that's a really excellent point. I don't know that if that's being done at this point, but it's really good data to have. And if there's a way to track it, I think that's a really good point. So I'll bring it up to the command staff. I'm not sure if it's being tracked, to be quite honest.
Thank you.
Captain Mura,
Okay, Kathy, go ahead.
two questions. Councilman Lightfoot mentioned there was a 2-year-old who was able to access a firearm and subsequently shot his mom. Does RPD do any community education work with the public concerning the safe storage of firearms for those people who have guns in the home? And if so, what community work does RPD do along that line?
So generally speaking, we put out um, safety bulletins or presentations to anybody that's interested in receiving them. We also do it at community events or community meetings. Councilman Lightfoot has had me go to certain groups for your church, I believe, correct? And give safety briefings and things of that nature. So we do, upon request, do that. And certainly we put things out through the media on occasion. And aside from that, I don't have a specific date or time of where we would be doing that, but yes, we do that on occasion.
Okay, and Captain
I
Mira,
do know,
just
I am aware of, no, I'm sorry, there's a bit of a delay tonight, but I am aware, Kathy, of, I believe Council Vice President is working on some stuff around gun storage safety. And I think that we, as the coalition, that can be one of the areas of education for our community education piece that we can do, that the coalition can kind of spearhead as well. We can do some of those types of things ourselves through our partners and run some of those types of events like the gun buy give back program. We could do some gun safety stuff as well too.
thank you, Councilman. And then just one other question, Captain Mira. This is along a data line. Uh, so in addition to the great points made by the previous speaker concerning the locations perhaps of how or the events surrounding how crime gun injury occurs or unintentional injury, gunshot injuries occur. I was wondering if you could explain to us the process used and this is picking up on what Councilman Lightfoot was asking you previously concerning, are we tracking how many of the guns that are reported lost or stolen are being recovered? It's along that same frame of thinking. Does the ATF, the RPD, the New York State Police, and the Monroe County Sheriff ever come together to reconcile the theft loss reports made to police or ATF on guns?
Kathy, that's a great question, and that is above my pay grade. So I will pass that along to the command staff. I'm certain that it does happen, but I don't know how often, and I don't know what the end result is. But I know that we work hand in hand with the county and the federal partners locally for everything that you mentioned. I just don't know how often, and I don't want to speak on something that I'm not schooled in.
All right, and follow-up to that would be, are they reconciling their findings with the reports being filed both by gun dealers as well as by private citizens?
That would probably be a better question for the ATF, quite frankly, but I can ask.
Thank you, Captain Mira.
You are welcome.
Reverend Cunningham, you have your hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to know, is it possible, and it could already have been done, that some of this education can be done through the recreational centers within the city where we have the influx of young people that's there and parents dropping off, and could there be something done through the recreation centers for gun safety, that awareness?
Yes,
I
not
would
only
say,
can we do that.
Go ahead, Cap.
That's a great point. Not only can we do it, but I'll make sure it gets done. I'll make sure that we have a presentation. I'll get one of the presentations that we normally utilize, and I'll have my CPOs go out to the rec centers and not only give out flyers to the folks working and attending the rec centers, but also give presentations to the children that are there.
And I just wanted to say I commend you for what you do with the churches, going into the churches and, educating us. But I think, we need to go to the heart and the pulse of the community. And that's why, recommend that if you go through make it known through the rec centers, that should be a holistic coverage. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Great idea.
All right, we'll take maybe one more question for Captain Murray. Anyone else? All right, we're gonna go into crisis intervention.
All right, good evening, everyone. I will report out the numbers on our community support team, and then Leslie will provide us with the person in crisis numbers. So in the month of August, also the homicide response team supported during 6 homicides that occurred in August. We had 126 outreach attempts for the month of August to the community around victimization. And our highest zip codes were 14613, where we served 7 victims. We served 4 victims in 14608, and we served 3 victims in 11 and 05, for a total of 74 victims served in the month of August. Leslie?
For the person in crisis team for the month of August, we had 240 full response and total response and then calls. That was just for the month of August.
Leslie, sorry, your sound was kind of coming in and out of it. Just to confirm, it was 240 co-response, or maybe if you send it in the chat, maybe that would be helpful.
Can you hear me now?
You. Oh, better. Yes, much better.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
said for the month of
Yes.
August, we
Yeah.
had a total of 240 calls, and that was co-response and pick-a-loan calls.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions for Miss Aaliyah Hinton Williams or Leslie? Kathy, I see your hand. Go.
I was wondering, and only if, of course, Miss Aaliyah Hinton thinks it would be a good idea, would RPD be willing to integrate the education component of crisis intervention or prevention, crisis prevention, with the crisis intervention team, by including Miss Aaliyah Hinton, perhaps in helping to educate the community about how these crises can be prevented, how can we prevent injury and harm. I just think it would be a great pairing if we could somehow bring them together. And because the community knows Miss Aaliyah Hinton Williams, they trust her and her partner that is providing these services. I just want to throw that out as something to think about.
Thank you, Kathy. We're most certainly open to any type of collaborations that we can have that will support the community. In fact, Leslie and I were able to present at the Office of Victim Services annual conference last month, and we did a presentation on community partnerships. And we did, of course, mention the partnership that we have here with the coalition. And so we know how important those partnerships are, and they do truly have an impact on the community.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, folks. Any other questions for crisis intervention? If not, we're going to bring in not a new to obviously our community, but new presenter to our coalition meeting. But we're excited to be adding this additional presentation in our meetings from the Rochester Fire Department. We have Chief Napolitano, and we offer him and give him the space to present to us tonight.
Well, good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone. Thank you. As I've been participating in the last several months, I've been trying to figure out, okay, as I told you the first time, I'm tired of my people bandaging people up, sticking their fingers in the gunshot wound to save these young men and women. And I came up with 6 talking points that I wanted to bring what I think the role of the Rochester Fire Department can be with the coalition. But before I go over those, I do want to let you know that we're partnering with Zeke again on several events this month, which are exciting because I try to take out 2 birds with 1 stone. In addition to supporting Zeke and the violence prevention, we also use it as a recruitment opportunity to tell these young men and women that, hey, there's a great opportunity to be a member of the Rochester Fire Department where you can make a difference in your community. It is not just a job, it's a calling. You're going to be compensated very well with financial remuneration as well as benefits, and you're going to make a difference. And we've actually the ice cream social that we did at the Dewey and Ridge station. We have 2 people. I'll take 2. I wish I had 10, but I have 2 people that are communicating with us and looking for a career in the fire service. So the partnership with Zeke and his team is fantastic. Some numbers. This one kind of threw me for a loop. For the year to date, we've responded to 89 gunshot wound emergency medical calls. That was interesting to see that. Now, some of the people were transported. Some, obviously, there were homicides, and some people went into their own private vehicles or never made it to a hospital. But our response from Rochester Fire, from the ECD, Emergency Communications Department, was 89 requests for service. So, good information. So as I alluded to at the beginning of this, some of the talking points where I think how Rochester Fire can support the Coalition Against Gun Violence. And the first is affirming our commitment to community safety. As first responders, we're deeply committed to the health, safety, and well-being of our community. So we want to affirm our commitment to the community. Then we want to recognize our role and response, okay? So while our primary mission is fire protection, emergency medical response, and good intent, we're often among the first to be on the scene of these violent incidents, including shootings. Our crews witness firsthand the devastating impact on gun violence and on the victims, the families, and the community. So we see the ripple effect, trauma, fear, and long-term consequences that extend far beyond the moment of the incident. So we realize that our response is critical to these acts. Next is collaborating to save lives. We support the Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition because we believe in collaboration and community-centered solution. No agency can do this alone. We all have to partner and figure out what our respective roles and cross and blur the lines to support each other in any way we can. Next, this is a big one for me, is supporting trauma-informed response. We're working to ensure our responders are trained in trauma-informed care. We advocate for better mental health and support and resources for both the victims of the violence, as well as our first responders who carry the emotional weight of these calls. I can tell you this is my 39th and a half year in the fire service, and there's things, and council member, you can relate to this specifically, that we can't unsee, that we can't unsmell, things that when I started in this business and when you started in this business, you were probably told, just bury it in your gut. This is what we do. And now we're really doing a much better job with our responders that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to talk about it. We have the peer support group. We have COPE. We have outside agencies, right? And it's important that our people have that trauma-informed care so they can continue to do their jobs, but at the same time, know how to support the family and the friends who are on scene and just saw this as well. The next thing I think we really can do is our fire stations are trusted pillars in the community and in the neighborhoods. And we are going to explore ways to make them more accessible as a community safe space and an information hub. We have all of our fire stations are safe spaces right now for dropping off an infant, a child, or when somebody comes to, just needs a safe space to go. I think we can expand that, and we're very interested in doing that. And then the last thing is data and early intervention. Our data analyst is critical. Data drives the decisions in today's world. The days of people saying, well, if you don't give me this money or you don't give me this program or this service, people are going to die, buildings are going to burn down. Unfortunately, I can tell you in every community in the United States, that happens on a regular basis, no matter how much training, prevention, education, enforcement that goes on. However, I firmly believe with the data hub, the fire department can contribute data and trends from our incident responses to help inform partnering agencies on early intervention strategies. We want to help identify patterns and hotspots where targeted resources could make a difference before the violence occurs. So to me, I think those are the six tenets that Rochester Fire can assist with the coalition and bring those to the table.
All right, we appreciate that, Chief. I agree. Those are some very good points that we can definitely use to add to the overall big picture of eradicating gun violence in our community. Does anyone have any questions for the Chief?
Chief
All right,
Napolitano?
great. Well, thank you, Chief. We look forward to. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Is it okay to ask one question?
Sure.
Chief Napolitano, you mentioned that requests for assistance concerning gunshots, falls, you had 89 incidents that you responded to from year to date. I was wondering, could you share with us where do gunshots fall overall over the course of the year in terms of the requests for help from the fire department? I know, people call you because they have a fire. People are calling you because they're requesting help because someone is at risk through a gunshot wound. Where does gunshot wounds fall in all the requests made and the purposes for which the requests are made?
I guess I need a little bit more background what you're looking for. So far this year, we've responded close to 25,000 requests for service. We are about 5.5% higher this year than we were last year. So 89 out of 25,000 requests for services. Are you looking for a ratio, a percentage? I'm just apologize.
I'm just wondering, where does it fall in the overall categories of highest numbers of requests made to you?
Oh, it's one of the lowest.
One of the lowest.
One is the lowest, yes. Our typical high users are cardiac arrest, respiratory distress, things of that nature. Yeah, it's one of our. I'm going to say it's probably in the lower 10 to 15% of the types of requests for service. There's in the emergency medical dispatch, we had to extrapolate the 89 out of penetrating trauma. The general title is penetrating trauma. That could be a stabbing. That could be somebody impaled on a fence. That could be someone that we had this not that long ago. A branch fell off a tree and penetrated somebody's thigh. So we had to extrapolate that information out. So, but yeah, it's not. It's very awkward to say that it's not a high category for us. It's troubling to say that because 89 gunshot wounds are 89 too many gunshot wounds. I think we would all agree with that.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. I think that brings a lot of things in perspective. A lot of people, and that's why I think bringing the fire department a part of this discussion makes sense because a lot of our general public, including our partners, which are a part of our general public, don't truly understand the role of the fire department and how it has changed over time, where there are a lot more EMS calls than there are necessarily structure fires and incidences that are fire related. That risk reduction has worked over the years, fire prevention, building codes, and how they're making more buildings more safer with sprinkler systems and things of that nature, and how EMS has really become a major part of how fire departments do business. And as a matter of fact, even here in our local city, we are entertaining the idea of how do we look at maybe expanding our EMS model to our fire department to do more like some other departments do in other cities of transporting, and even to the point where we added a EMS position to the fire department that that you guys are currently seeking recruitment for now.
Interviewing this coming week.
I just think the general public oftentimes they don't. Yeah, right. So the general public just doesn't truly understand. So I think it's part of bringing that piece to the table is going to be very educational to not only our partners, but also to the general public. So I thank you, Chief, for being here.
Yeah.
We look forward to hearing the various pieces that you bring each month.
Absolutely. With that being said,
okay, we're going to move along. I'm sorry, go ahead. There's a bit of a delay, so go ahead.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave in about 10 minutes to get prepared to go to another meeting.
Understood. Thank you for your time. We're going to move on. Thank you for your time, Chief. All right, so we're moving on, ladies and gentlemen, in our agenda. We're going to thank you. We're going to some of our reports. I don't know if anyone's here. I don't think anyone's here for media. Is anyone here for advocacy? let's do our advocacy.
Yes, I'm here. Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so the advocacy committee did meet. We had a light team meeting a couple of weeks ago. There's a few things that we're gonna pull forward. One is, we're gonna wait for the gun trace data report information to act on a few other items from the advocacy committee. There was a decision to hold off on following up on the gun dealers code of conduct until the next version of the gun trace report is done. The other item, we are working on procurement legislation potentially. We are going to meet with the corporation counsel and the chief to just kind of lay out some potential avenues for this. We do have legislation from San Diego, San Francisco, other places that have passed it at a city level, where essentially they bar the city from doing business with people who are, or organizations, entities that are involved in crime guns being on the street. So we're going to look at that. Other than that, we are going to delay our meetings for now until we get a little bit further along and some of this other information is released, like the gun trace report. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. President. And we have not had an opportunity formally in a meeting. I think this might have been the first meeting you've been at since the election, but congratulations on winning your re-election and for your recommitment to the Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition.
Thank you. My pleasure being here.
Does anybody have any questions for President Melendez and or Kathy, because she sits on that committee as well? Anybody have any questions for the advocacy? I believe we have Septimus is on online for youth. Septimus, you want to give us an update on the youth committee?
Hey, good evening, everyone. I do not have any new updates since the last time we met. The last time I spoke with Ms. Reeves, she was looking to get together an idea for us to engage with the youth in the community prior to school. So I'm not sure if those things have changed yet at this point in time. I'll still need to get in contact with her to get more feedback from her regarding what we're going to do moving forward. So as of now, nothing new to report at this time.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we were tossing around, ladies and gentlemen, about doing maybe a barbecue or an event with our young people prior to school, and just time just got ahead of us. We just couldn't, we didn't want to throw something together last minute. So we decided that we would work on something in the beginning of the new year so that we could put something together that's really nice for our young people, maybe for next summer before school starts. So, and then make it maybe like an annual thing. So we just put a pause on that because we really wanted to have more of a planned event. So thank you for that, Septimus. Resource Committee.
I do not have a major update. Dassy has connected with us. We're going to be following up with her to try to start moving forward and getting everything put together. So we should have more of an update next month.
Thank you. All right. Anyone from Tanios from Education Committee? Is he here? Is he on the line?
No, he's not.
I think he's part of Education and Eradication. And I don't see Commissioner Griffin here as well.
Yeah, she said
or is
there's
there
no
anybody
there's
from
no
either one of those
update.
committees?
Commissioner Griffin said there's no update for eradication.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Thank you. Did I miss anybody before I go on to my chairman's report? Okay. So you all have received today, you got the agenda, but you also received a what was sent out was a Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition Data Partners Meeting questionnaire. Now, I just wanted to give you a little back information in regards to this so that you would understand our reasoning behind sending this to you and what we're asking you to do. So we have the data subcommittee, and we had several meetings with the subcommittee. And as you know, and we reported before, one of the things that we identified in those meetings is that there were a lot of data gaps within the information that's currently being shared. And we had a consensus of the group that we wanted to create a new data hub for our community and to move that hub forward. This was part of that process. We thank Dr. Shani for creating the questionnaire for us. And we presented it to the people on the data committee at that time, and now we're extending it to our partners. What we're looking to get is exactly what came out of a question from Shiamaka earlier when she was asking her dad a question about, hey, do you look at this or have you considered that? We're looking to do exactly that, to capture those types of questions on this form. So of course it's your first name, your contact information, which we have for most of you already, the organization that you may represent, right? In the community that you serve in that particular space. We're all in different spaces. This is for everyone on the partnership. We're trying to get back as many of these questionnaires as possible, because this is going to help us frame our draft pilot program for the data hub that we're looking to have in 2026. Community, the location of your area, strengths of the organization. What are your organization weaknesses? Improve. Does your organization need any assistance? If so, what it is? Specialized training required. Share what organization that you represent. Provide the terms of when it comes to gun violence and violence eradication. And in a few words, provide the information about your organization in regards to what you'd like to see in this, and then what other information does your organization would you do in terms of gun violence and eradication. So this is helping us to determine the partners that we have, and then we're hoping to be able to extract what information is needed, what data may be lacking. And if you have like data questions, it doesn't really ask it that way, but if you have information that you believe is missing or would be helpful in regards to us creating this data hub that we don't currently have, or your organization doesn't have access. So when you think about when we asking these questions about what does your organization need, we want you to think about in regards to data and that you don't have, that will be helpful to your organization, or that's not currently out there and available. We're looking for you because we're trying to identify gaps, and we're trying to identify information that will be helpful to us telling this story in regards to gun violence and violence within our community. So that's why that was sent to you. And I'm asking you all to please fill that out and get it back to DASI, hopefully within the next 5 to 10 days. The sooner the better, because it's going to help us, once we get as many of these as we can, it's going to help us craft the next data subcommittee conversation that we have. And then that's going to help us move into a plan for a timeline of putting together a pilot draft for a new data hub that would be comprehensive with all of the partners, and or also filling in some of the gaps that we don't currently see on the open data portal or any portal that we may currently have. So this is going to be kind of like new for our community and also innovative because very few communities have this type of tool that we're looking to create a pilot program for. Because when we did the research, there wasn't really a lot of places that we could draw and pull from. but it's very needed, and the data subcommittee felt that this was something that could be very beneficial to not only the researchers out there in the community, in the non-for-profits and the organizations, but also for the general public when connecting the dots of the impact that gun violence has on our community, and tying in some of the evidence around that gun violence that's not currently being publicly presented and transparent to the community. Does anybody have any questions in regards to anything that I just said or to the questionnaire? All right, wonderful. Well, my next piece that I had for tonight, I'm literally going back and forth with the mayor as we speak, texting, asking about an update for the gun trace data report. He said that he spoke to the chief on Friday, and the goal is still to have the draft report by year end. It is moving forward. He's going to let me know of any time frame changes I'll probably have by the next meeting. But the goal is to have a draft report done before the end of the year. So that's looking like that's well on its way, and they're on top of that. So we're definitely gonna have another gun trace data report. It's in the making. And so there hopefully we'll have a draft to be able to give you a summary of as far as where we are with it. In each meeting, we'll be able to give you an update, but hopefully we'll have something before the end of the year that we're able to present on. Let's see, there's something in the chat here. Okay, got you. All right, so that's all I have as far as moving forward. I remember I was telling you guys that we are looking to continue this work going forward after the new year. I've had some meetings with city law office, and we're working on the particulars to be able to do all of that. Things are looking, great as far as making sure that this work continues after the new year. And so we are also have some things that we're going to be sharing with you before the end of the year as to different plan, the 2 to 3 year strategic plan that we're going to be launching before the new year to the coalition. We're going to be very aggressive. We kind of we're very more pinpoint strategic this year with the gun trace data report, with making sure that we were working on the resource guide, and also looking at some of the things from our action plan that we were trying to complete before the end of the year. But next year, we're planning to be with the new report, of course, as well as some new initiatives that we're very excited about that we're entertaining right now. We're going to be introducing the 2 to 3 year strategic plan for the coalition, as well as really reinvigorating this work for 2026 and going forward. So very excited about the future of the coalition and where we're going. And I'm just, we're going through a little bit of transition, preparing ourselves for the different shifting of the work. But just want to reassure everybody that there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. There's a lot of great stuff, and I just can't talk about it now. But I will definitely be keeping you abreast on stuff as we get closer to the end of the year. But I'm very excited about the work that we're doing. I'm excited about the rate of the clearance rate of the police department at 76%. We're getting back to numbers that we had prior to the pandemic of 89 point something percent. We had almost 90% clearance rate at one point. It also seems that our homicide rate, unfortunately, is even though it's 23 is high, it's much lower than it has been in the past, and that is good. But we see that there's opportunity for a lot of education, and so we're going to be working in the future to be a part of that education piece to our community and around the prevention stuff, right? So that's all that I have for you guys as of now. Does anyone have any? Shiamaka, go ahead. Your hands raised. I can't hear you for some reason. Can you guys hear her? Because I can't.
Can you hear me now? Hear me now?
Yes,
I
I can hear
can
you
now,
now.
yes.
Okay, thank you. So I was just wondering, in context to what you're mentioning about the clearance rate being good and the numbers going down, if there can ever be an element of these meetings where we highlight what works in the community. I there are things that are working if these are some of the new statistics, and I think it's so important as we're ideating of what we should create or build, that we're really centering what does seem to work, to kind of cut that middleman of reinventing the wheel constantly, but also to be in a communal space where we're celebrating the efforts and the strategies that really seem to be making an impact. And I think it also just helps with the sense of morale, because there are things that are working, there are perspectives and approaches. And when that is continuously talked about, a number of us sit in different positions in government or power, and we are being primed. Also remember in the back of our mind, well, this is what works. At least let us try applying these principles to this approach that we want to do, or something of that nature. So.
Agreed. Duly noted. Anyone else have anything to share? Or the floor is open to anyone to share anything they're doing with their particular organization or anything. You guys have done a great job this year of getting information to us so we can able to support each other in our various efforts. That's been really great. Dassy Num has been doing a great job, Kathy, getting out the minutes and keeping us all just on one accord as far as what's going on in all of our individual spaces. A lot of activity was happening. A lot of stuff still to come. We saw, Zeke sent out quite a bit of information that they're doing. A lot of outreach programming that they're doing. We hear Captain Muir is doing outreach programming as well in various spaces, as well as our centers, and even some newer ideas have come from this meeting tonight. It's kind of, I know it probably, we're going to pinpoint and prioritize some of the top things, but Shimaka, I think it's all of the above. I think, this full court press approach that our community is taking towards violence, I think is part of the success of it all, is things like what we're doing here, supporting each other, and all of the above. Every single thing that we're doing, and to continue to do it, is part of it. But I hear you loud and clear. There are definitely some things we know that we can statistically and aggregate. We can actually show that they have changed over the years, and things that we put attention and resources and priority into, from city council perspective, from the city administration perspective, and the mayor, and et cetera, as well as our partners, that you guys that are out there on the boots on the ground every day. And so I just want to encourage us to keep doing what we're doing, because like you said, it can be daunting, and it can sometimes we feel like we're not doing enough. And of course, but we have to see that we're going in the right direction. The numbers are going down. They're not going up. They're going down. Certain numbers that are going up are the good numbers to go up, like the rate of capturing the people that are creating the clearance rate and things of that nature. We want to see those numbers go up, but we want to see these homicides and shootings and all of those things go down. And we also want to see the numbers go up of prevention, of outreach and education. Those numbers should be going up and rising. And so as we see the intervention and the eradication and the education of around gun violence, those numbers going up, then we want to see obviously the homicide and shooting rates go down. So I'm happy and I'm excited as far as that we're continuing this work. I'm excited about the fact that we're all engaged and we're all still serious about this work, regardless of when we started the coalition in 2018, we averaged 20 to 30 homicides a year in 2018. Okay, we had 89.9% clearance rate then. And some people would say, oh, we were at some of our lowest rates ever, and that there were no need for a coalition. But we saw a need then at those numbers. And I heard today we're at 23, right? And so we're touting some of the same numbers that we had when this coalition was started. And it was started for the purpose that those numbers were still too high as far as we were concerned. And they will always be too high because one is too many. And so to have the same vigor and the same commitment from the coalition, which has grown significantly. And this table has a wealth of knowledge from all walks of life in this space. we're excited about the future and of what the coalition and our partners are going to do to continue to eradicate this violence in our city. So thank you all for everything that you guys do. We see you, we appreciate you. We're grateful for you, all that you do, and all of the various spaces that you do. I see you, Tony. God bless you all for everything that you guys are doing in this space. Let's continue to stay focused, continue to stay united, and just continue to, do the work. All right,
Thank you,
folks,
sir.
that's all we
Thank
have
you for your
tonight.
leadership. We
Yes.
appreciate you. We appreciate you.
Take care, everyone.
Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
God bless
Good
everybody.
night.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Good night.